Hi everyone, welcome to Site24x7 webinar series. I'm Rama and I'll be hosting and presenting this webinar along with Mani, our technical expert. The topic of today's webinar is understanding Site24x7's Network Configuration Manager and how it helps with automation, reports, and compliance. The agenda for today's webinar will include a brief introduction about Site24x7 and the need for network configuration management. This will be followed by a demo of Site24x7's Network Configuration Manager. Then we will look at some upcoming modules in Site24x7's NCM. Finally, we will also have a run through of all the other features available in our network monitoring module and also learn about the full stack monitoring capabilities of Site24x7. About Site24x7. Zoho's IT management arm, ManageEngine, began developing Site24x7 about 15 years ago as a monitoring solution that could cater to the needs of a rapidly emerging cloud-centric IT environment. Now, Site24x7 has evolved into an AIOps-powered digital experience monitoring, ITOM, and observability solution for companies of all sizes. Uninterrupted network connectivity is one of the most important priorities for businesses, and intelligent network configuration management is an important part of it. Now, let's get to the crux of what network configuration management actually is and understand why organizations need it. Every network will have hundreds of devices of multiple types. Managing each type of device is very complex in such cases. So, network admins organize and manage the device configurations of all the devices in their network with Network Configuration Management Tool. Admins refer to the Network Configuration Management Tool to determine which would be the best course of action to manage the device configuration, like backing up the present configuration or restoring the last working configuration version. These activities are important to ensure that the network connectivity does not get affected due to a configuration error on the device. Why it is important. Network configuration management helps admins identify device configuration issues quickly. Let's look at this example to see why network configuration management is important in any organizational network. Let's consider an organization Zilka. This is a simple representation of its network where a router is connected to several switches, which are in turn connected to several endpoint devices. If there is an unauthorized or unexpected device configuration change in the router, chances are the entire network may get affected. Now imagine the cost of an outage lasting for even 5 minutes. The organization's productivity and customer experience would get affected drastically. To prevent this situation, admins at Zilker must act quickly and restore the network before the configuration change causes any damage. This is challenging if admins do this task manually, as they have to first identify which device faces configuration error. Then they'll have to select the appropriate device configuration file from the database and finally restore the last working configuration version. This is where our Network Configuration Manager helps. It offers multi-vendor network device change and configuration management. With Site24x7's NCM feature, admins can simply spot the device requiring their attention on a dashboard. Click on it to see all the backed up configuration files of the device and restore the last working configuration. All this can be done very quickly, even before the neighboring devices get affected because the seed router is down. There are other features in our NCM that are very important for admins. Let's look at them one by one. Our tool, you can monitor any device in your network. By default, Site24x7 supports devices from over 75 vendors and offers more than 300 device templates to fetch and manage the configurations. Apart from this, we have recently released an update where you can create or edit device templates as required. So now you can monitor any device in your network with our NCM tool. You can also automate configuration backups with Site24x7. Even a small incorrect configuration change can halt your network operations. To prevent such situations, you can configure our NCM tool to take automatic configuration backups whenever there is a change in device configuration. So what happens is, even when there is an unauthorized, incorrect, or unexpected change in device configurations, you can simply restore the last working configuration quickly before the device goes down. Imagine the time you are saving with this. Apart from automating configuration backups, you can also schedule configuration backups at predefined intervals based on your organization's needs. Site24x7's NCM takes a backup of the latest changes at established intervals to help you save time and effort without any compromise on security. Let's go back to the example now. The admin at Zilker can see that there is a configuration change between two versions, but they are unable to identify what has changed. For this, they can simply use the compare configurations feature on our NCM to identify the differences and decide if the change is valid or not. You can also track unauthorized changes from the NCM dashboard directly. Simply select the configuration version to view whether the change is authorized or unauthorized. You can revert the changes if they are not performed by authorized users. The last feature is one of the most important ones as it helps admins recover any last approved version of the device configuration after network failures or any other unforeseen events with a single click. Let's see how you can start monitoring device configurations with NCM. Here are the prerequisites to get started. The on-premise puller, a lightweight agent, helps monitor your internal network and resources behind a firewall or virtual private network. It can monitor data center components and intranet applications like logs, payroll applications, ERP systems, network devices, and database servers. You can install on-premise puller in various branch offices within a distributed organization and monitor the user experience from each of these branch offices. So, to get started with monitoring device configurations within your network, you must first install the on-premise puller. Then, ensure that both the network module and the on-premise puller is up and running. Finally, you should enable NCM on Site24x7. We will look at how to do it in the forthcoming slides. But before that, we'll see what the system requirements are. For instance, if you have up to 100 devices for on-premise puller, ensure that you have 4 processors and 8 GB of RAM. And if you have 500 devices per on-premise puller, you need 8 processors and 16 GB RAM. You must have a minimum disk space of 100 GB. Ensure that your firewall and the on-premise puller's mission firewall do not block the following ports for the respective protocols. Next, let's see how to enable NCM on Site24x7. Log into your Site24x7 account and navigate to Network, NCM, and Settings. On the Manage NCM view, select the desired on-premise puller from the drop-down list here and click on Toggle button to enable NCM. Then click on Save. Once done, wait for 10 minutes to add new devices. Now, here's something important. Enabling NCM will take 5 to 10 minutes. So please wait for that duration before adding devices. Device templates are an important feature of NCM as they define the commands to connect, backup, or perform other device operations. Choosing the wrong device template may lead to failure in backing up the configuration. So if you're not sure of the right template, you can test the commands in the template to check if it works on the selected device. To do this, navigate to Network, NCM, and Device Templates. Then select the device template to view the commands. Excuse me. These are the commands that you should test on the device to see if it is working and confirm if the selected device template is the right one. You can use existing device templates, create a new one, or edit an existing one. Let's see how we can add a new device template. So we have come back to device template screen. Here you can click on add device template button to get started with adding a new device template. Enter the details for device template and provide the vendor details. Select a device type. Provide the value for iOS and enter a description. Next, provide the commands to be used for the protocols. By default, SSH telnet is available on the page. However, if required, you can add SSH SCP and SSH TFTP or telnet TFTP here. And provide the appropriate commands to backup running configuration. You can also provide commands to backup startup configuration by selecting it from the drop-down on the right side of the page here. Enter the values for command, prompt, timeout, line feed, and prompt action. If you need to add multiple commands, click the plus icon to add a row. Excuse me. To edit an existing device template, navigate back to device templates here. You can choose to click the pencil icon given here, or you can also click on the device template and click on edit device template button here. If you wish to clone or customize a device template, select the copy icon beside the respective device template. With this option, all the commands for all the protocols available for the template will be added to the new template. You can add or remove protocols as needed. However, the SSH telnet protocol cannot be removed. Now let's see how you can add devices to NCM for monitoring. Navigate to Network, NCM, and click on the plus icon beside NCM devices. Provide the necessary details on the page. Let's see how to do that. Enter a preferred name to identify the device. Next, you must provide the host name or the IP address. Select the vendor. Select the device template. This is the device template for which you have tested the commands on the device. After selecting the device template, you must select the right protocol. Please note that selecting the right protocol is crucial because if the protocol is incorrect, Site24x7's NCM cannot connect to your device. You may also encounter a message that says NCM cannot backup using the selected protocol. This happens when an incorrect protocol is selected, so make sure that you select the right one. The next important thing while adding devices is providing the right credentials. Credentials help authorize Site24x7's NCM to fetch the relevant data from the devices. It includes basic details such as login name, password, prompt, and protocol that establishes communication between the device and Site24x7's NCM. In the primary credentials field, you can select the saved credential information if you have already saved them for the selected protocol. Select the right credential from the drop-down menu if it is available. You may also edit an existing credential by clicking on the pencil icon next to the field here, or add a new one by clicking on the plus icon here. You can also create common credentials to be used by multiple devices on Site24x7. Now let's see how to create new credentials for SSH that can also be used as a reference to create new credentials for other protocols. After clicking on the plus icon, we have come to the screen. Now enter the secure shell username and password after providing the display name. Let's provide the username here. Next, we'll enter the password. After providing the password, enter the port number and timeout details. In the prompt field, you must enter the symbol that you normally see while logging onto the device or on the SSH and Telnet client. Some of the possible values for the prompt field are the $sign, the greater than symbol, the hash, or any other supported special character. So in this case, let's provide the dollar symbol. Similarly, enter the login prompt and password prompt details. If you're a normal user without any privileges, you need to provide enable username and password to fetch the device configuration. You can choose password, no password, or empty password here. If you select password, you will have to enter the password in the enable password field. If you select no password, it means that the device won't prompt for password. If only an enter is required to connect to the device, then select empty password. If there is no enable mode on the device, select enable password type as password, but you can leave enable password and enable prompt fields empty. So here, we'll select the type as password, provide the value for enable password, and enable prompt is hash. For a few devices, connection to the device may not be authorized unless you provide additional parameters. To enter additional parameters, toggle to yes in the additional parameters required section. However, here we'll be clicking on no. Next, click on save credentials. Once you've added all the details, click Save Credential to take you back to Add Device to NCM screen. Please be assured that all the credential details are encrypted and saved securely. Now click the Test Credential checkbox near the pencil icon on the primary credential field. Missing this step could result in a configuration backup failure. So please ensure that the checkbox is selected. Some devices may still require SNMP credentials for fetching the hardware details. Select from the drop-down menu near the SNMP credentials field on the Add Device to NCM form, or click the pencil icon to create a new credential record. If you have accurately entered the credentials and the prompt symbols, adding devices to NCM and taking configuration backups will be smooth and error-free. However, if there are any other errors, when you click Save, you'll see a failed result show up in the test credentials pop-up. If it happens to you, just verify the fields once again, as some of the most common errors are interchange symbols in the prompt fields. So make sure you get them right. Once you've selected the protocol and enter the credential details on Site24x7's Network Configuration Manager, the next field you'll see is the check frequency field. Here, select the frequency for Site24x7 to take device configuration backups. Next, select the on-premise folder in the monitoring locations field. In the monitor groups field, you can also select monitors to add to a group or add the current monitor to an existing group. Then you can select another monitor as a dependent monitor and suppress alerts if the other monitor is down too. The next section on the Add Device to NCM view is Configuration Profiles. Configuration Profile facilitates the creation of unique settings for thresholds, alerts, and more, which allows you to have standard and uniform settings for all your monitors. Here, you can select a profile from the drop-down or configure alerts according to your requirements by clicking the pencil icon beside the threshold and availability field. Set your threshold strategy on the pop-up so that you'll receive critical or trouble alerts based on predefined conditions that you set. Then click Save. Following this in the Configuration Profile section, now you can also select Automation Templates to remediate routine actions on status changes. While adding devices to Site24x7's NCM, you can select user alert groups whom you can notify of status changes, and even select the on-call schedule to send alerts to assignees during specific shift hours. can select the on-call schedule here. You can also select a notification profile or create a new one that specifies whom to notify or how to be notified. In the edit notification profile pop-up, provide the details and then click save here. Once you've entered all the details in the add device to NCM view, you can click save. There is also a third-party integration section. NCM allows the integration of alarms into the third-party services like Jira, Zapier, Slack, Microsoft Teams, ServiceNow, and more. So you can select the integrations required and then click on Save. This is the test credential pop-up, which will show the result if your credentials are working properly or not. Next, let's see what current configurations are. Navigate to Network, NCM, click on Current Configurations. Here you can see all the current configurations of all the devices. Next, All Configuration Changes section provides all the configuration changes of all the devices. Compare configuration is a very important feature in NCM. Here you can compare and analyze the configuration changes made to your device. Let's see how it works. Let's select a device, select the running configuration, and let's see if there is a difference between the baseline running configuration and the current running configuration. As you can see, there's a lot of difference. So admins can use this to validate if the changes are valid or not. Navigate to NCM again. Next is NCM credentials, where you can click the test now button and test the credential to check if it is working properly or not. Now let's see what happens when you click on a device. So when you go to the NCM devices dashboard, you can see all the devices here. When you click on a device, you will first go to the summary screen where you can see the device availability and the device details. Next, in the config summary tab, you can view the startup, running, startup baseline and running baseline configurations on the top of the screen. And in the lower half of the screen, you can view all the configuration changes related to that device. Click on the hamburger icon to view the various options associated with the configuration version. So you can set any version as the baseline, mark an unauthorized version as authorized, or do it vice versa. Compare it with any version, or upload this configuration as a startup or running configuration. This feature is very important when there is a network failure, as it allows you to restore the network very quickly. Next, let's see what happens when you click the version number here. You can see all the configuration details on the screen. Here in the hamburger icon, you'll also have another option called download configuration, which lets you download the configuration file as a text file on the system that you're using. Let's go back to the presentation now. So we've seen about enabling NCM, device templates, adding device templates, editing device templates, and adding devices to NCM. We also saw how to add credentials and test the credentials. And we saw about all these tabs available in NCM. Next is the product roadmap. We'll soon be releasing these features in our NCM module. Firmware vulnerabilities can lead to security issues that could put your networks at risk. One common vulnerability in network devices is outdated device firmware. If the device is not regularly updated with the latest firmware patches and security fixes, excuse me, it may contain known vulnerabilities that attackers can exploit. However, Site24x7's NCM helps you proactively identify devices with firmware vulnerabilities by scanning the entire network. It also helps pinpoint risks based on warnings provided by NIST Vulnerability Management, which is National Institute of Standards and Technology. NCM calculates firmware vulnerability depending on the operating system of the device or the firmware version and compares it to the data fetched from NIST. NCM categorizes firmware vulnerabilities into 4 categories, which is critical, important, moderate, and low. This will help you take appropriate action as needed. The next release is very important for compliance regulations. Device configurations must conform to the specified standards to comply with the regulations such as SOC, HIPAA, CIS, PCI, and others. The requirements could be anything, ensuring the presence or absence of certain strings, commands, or values. Network Configuration Manager helps in automatically checking for compliance with the defined rules for each standard. Let's look at the benefits of using Site24x7's NCM feature. You get instant alerts as soon as a configuration change is detected. It offers comprehensive reports that can help you with analytics. Site24x7 provides a single console visibility, and you do not have to switch between multiple applications. Finally, with NCM, it is very easy to troubleshoot issues. Before wrapping up, let me tell you a bit more about our network monitoring module and our other monitoring capabilities. Site24x7 also offers performance and availability monitoring, network traffic monitoring, and Cisco Meraki monitoring in its network monitoring module. It is a full stack monitoring solution that provides advanced monitoring capabilities like website, server, cloud, application performance, real user monitoring, app log monitoring, in addition to network monitoring, and solutions for cloud spend and status IQ. Here's a list of third-party integrations available in Site24x7. If your organization is using any of these tools for notifications, you can integrate very easily. The list doesn't end here though. You can just drop a word on our community page if you need any other integrations, and we'll make it happen. Site24x7 supports 13,000 customers worldwide and monitors billions of metrics. It is secure, powerful, agile, and scalable. Site24x7 offers mobile and desktop support and supports monitoring from global locations. It offers a 30-day free trial and also provides separate pricing plans for MSP customers. Site24x7 complies with all the major security standards as it undergoes an industry standard audit every year where an evaluation of the design and the operative effectiveness is diligently done. Here are our contact details for your reference. You can also find these details on our website. We have come to the end of our session. Please feel free to ask any questions. Okay, let me just check a question that was posted in one of the previous sessions. This was one question that was posted previously. Site24x7 supports multi-vendor environments and can manage a lot of device configurations, including routers, firewalls, and switches. Additionally, now that you can create or edit device templates as needed, you can create a custom template for yourself if you don't find one that suits your device. Thank you for being here today. Hope you found this webinar to be informative and interesting. Please visit our webinar page to view the upcoming webinars. We look forward to seeing you in our other sessions as well. Thank you for joining.